Have you ever walked into a room and felt like time disappeared? There was a time for me just like that. A moment that showed me how much I'd grown. It had been years since I'd seen him. And the moment I walked in, he turned around and looked at me. And the truth is, time always disappeared whenever I saw him. But this time, something felt different. It didn't matter how much time had passed. Everything I felt was still there. And it was strange because he looked different, but none of the feeling had changed. And in that moment, I realized something I had never really understood before. That was the moment I understood what unconditional love was. Because even though all that time had passed, and even though life had moved on, I still loved that person standing in front of me. And I couldn't fully explain why. But what I also realized was that even though that love was there, I didn't have to choose it because I had changed. And this time, I wasn't reacting the same way. I found myself sitting back, listening, just observing who he was now, trying to understand what I was really seeing. And over the time we spent together that evening, I began to see things more clearly. Those moments showed me everything I needed to see. I could feel something and still know it wasn't right for me. In those moments, I could also see something very clearly. We hadn't grown in the same direction. And sometimes that's what happens. Two people living completely different lives, finding themselves in very different places. And I think that's something we don't always understand. The more you become who you truly are, the more clearly you see what is and isn't right for you. Not from a place of judgment, but from a place of inner knowing. And for me, it wasn't just that something wasn't being fully offered. It was that now I knew better. And I had reached a place in my life where I knew I deserved more than that. Not from a place of expectation, but from a place of self-worth. And I've learned if something comes at the expense of who I am, it's simply too expensive. And something else became really clear to me that night. At one point, he asked me why we didn't work back then. And I told him it was because he never chose me. And he said that wasn't true. And what I realized in that moment was that we had lived the same experience, but understood it in completely different ways because we had each experienced it from where we were at the time. And moments like that are what begin to unfold in Levita. In the first chapter, Anna receives a call about a blast from the past reunion. I want to share a short piece that takes us into that moment. I find myself in a haze, staring into space as questions flood my mind. All the choices I've made. Some good, most not. Do I even want to remember it all? Sometimes the past doesn't return to restart something. Sometimes it returns so we can understand it, so we can see what we felt, why we did the things we did, what it meant, and what it showed us. Sometimes it returns to help us see more clearly who we've become. And sometimes it shows us a kind of love we didn't even know we were capable of. Have you ever had someone from your past reappear and you still felt something for them, but chose yourself this time around? Sometimes the people who don't stay still leave something meaningful behind.